Parliamentarians and also members of Kenya Organization of Women Members of Parliament, and we are here to really condemn an issue that has come to our attention involving one of our members, Honorable Njeri Maina, Wakili Njeri Maina, who has been attacked by goons and viciously beaten up to an extent of going to Nairobi Hospital. And even we have had a case whereby now women are, it's getting very problematic for women to conduct their activities. And I want to take this opportunity as the chair, Kenya Young Parliamentarian, to condemn with the strongest term possible the issue of violence when it comes to politics. And I would say that violence should not be a tool when it comes to politics of this country. We have a mature democracy that's supposed to be protected and is supposed to accommodate everybody, regardless of their stature, regardless of their, even people with disability. But we really cannot allow people to use goons in case there is any problem whatsoever or divergence of opinion. Let people argue, let people disagree, but we cannot allow when you disagree with somebody, you go to violence. And I'm saying this knowing very well the challenge women face when they are doing politics of this country. We have to sanitize the politics to accommodate more women in our politics today. We are talking of 2/3 gender rule and accommodating women in elective positions. But unless we want all women not to be elected, but all of them to be nominated, we have to condemn any issue of violence when it comes to people conducting their campaigns. I don't want to get into the local politics of Kirinyaga, but I want to say that regardless of who is right and who is wrong, as the chair Kenya Young Parliamentarian, I want to condemn the issue of violence, use of goons, and use of even stones to get your way with things. And that is the position of Kenya Young Parliamentarians. I would say that we are going to ask the law, the enforcers of law, to really take actions. And I'm happy the House has announced itself that we will require a report as soon as possible on what transpired in Kirinyaga. But we also want to say that while we are taking investigations of this issue, we also want to see people who are responsible being taken into books, and we want them even to pay the political price of using goons in politics. That is the only lesson we can learn by the use of force in politics. And we are here even getting it ourselves into international map as a country. This country has started getting into the maps of the world. It is not a good picture whatsoever when we see a young woman, a young as Njeri, being attacked by goons as old as 50 years and very big for that matter, while she's conducting her work in Kirinyaga. What will transpire then if women cannot get out and do their work? Why did we elect them? So I am here standing with women in politics and also standing with the young member of Parliament of Kirinyaga County on what has transpired. Thank you very much. I will also allow my colleague to say something.
It's very sad. As a young parliamentarian, as a woman, I was looking at the picture of Honorable Njeri Maina, and it took me back to when we were campaigning. And it took me back to all the incidences that we tried to report as women. And we talk about it, and now there's the 2/3 gender rule that we are trying to implement, and all these things about empowerment of women. But the reality is, even us who we are here, these parliamentarians, I'm a senator nominated under the affirmative action. But I can tell you, the bullying, the violence, it's toxic. And we are wondering as women who are here to represent women, how are we going to navigate this? And honestly, the issue of violence, whether against women or against men in politics, is something that we should put an end to. And I know that there are people saying that it's local politics, that we don't know what has transpired in the Kirinyaga local politics, but it doesn't matter. Nobody needs to be in a hospital bed because of the local politics of international politics. Nobody needs that. As a young parliamentarian who is under the affirmative action, I'm asking myself, if you look at the stats of how many nominated MPs and nominated senators were there in the last parliament, how many of them actually got elected? Only one out of more than 15. And then people will say, how come you cannot get elected? Look at what is happening to the elected members. They cannot even speak to the electorate in peace. And the worst thing about this is, and I want to urge all the women out there, today it is Njeri Maina. Because we have a lot of women in parliament who perhaps might not resonate with Njeri Maina's politics, or they think she's too young, she's too this, she's too that. But today it is Njeri Maina in that bed. You are a woman, tomorrow it could be you. So for me, I want to stand and say, it is time really, whether through the Kenya Young Parliamentarians Forum, whether through the Women Forum, whichever forum, it is time that we address this issue of bullying, this issue of SGBV, because this is, it's gender related. If you look at Gasheri, she's such a small person. We're even wondering how they attacked, like, you know, it is sad. And I think for me, I want to really call out on our political parties, because we also have to pin something to the political parties. Our political parties have to put a stop to this. You know the perpetrators. You know the people who use goons. You know that you have them in your political parties. They are not independent candidates. They don't belong nowhere. They belong in political parties. And I want to urge our political parties, it is really time for you to come out strong and decide whether you want women to be part of politics or not. Because what we are doing now is we are scaring all the women who actually have intention to get elected, to join active politics. We are telling them this is what it looks like. It looks like a hospital bed. It looks like all sorts of things, including bullying, intimidation, all sorts of things. So it's very sad. And honestly, this is not going to be the end of it. It's not just a press conference. We are going, personally, I'm going to pick this up with all the other women who I know are in this parliament who actually believe in young women parliamentarians coming into active politics. We have to do something about it. And this is just the beginning. Yeah.
Maina's story has taught me something today. That, for example, because I had this story, when women reps are going around checking on what is ailing our people, the governors or senators feel threatened. And this word leader doesn't make sense to most of our people. Something, when you are a leader and you are earning 7 figures, you are now the topmost. When you are earning 6 figures, you follow that who is earning more. We are rated as how much you're earning, maybe how many bodyguards you have, and your sex. Are you a female or you're male? When you're female, you can imagine what can happen. So Honorable Gasheri's incident is quite unfortunate. We can't throw our fingers, oh, she's not in books with so-and-so, she's not in books with so-and-so. When you are elected, you are on your own. That's why we don't have 2 women reps in Kirinyaga. We have 1. She has people who voted for her, and the others have people who voted for her. What we need to do is to have respect, and the voters will judge at the end of the 5 years that one is in office. Thank you very much.